Hey guys, back again with another video. I know it's been a while. I think it's been like 5 months or something like that. I don't know. YouTube, it's been tough to do it. I just haven't had much time to do it. I just haven't had like the enthusiasm. Definitely not taking YouTube as seriously nowadays. It's definitely one of those things where if I feel like it and I have the time, I'll do a video. But I definitely haven't abandoned it. It's just yeah, it's hard to find the energy and the time to do a video. Haven't been feeling like doing reviews either. I used to do a lot of those, but I don't know. Haven't been really in the mood for them too much. So this will do a quick video. This isn't going to take too long. I thought I'd do a Vita Collection video. I don't think I've ever done one of these. The Vita, it's pretty much done now. I don't think they're going to be making any more. I'm pretty sure there's no games for it. They've pretty much discontinued the system. My collection's not anything big. Now, I guess before we get into the collection, like thoughts on the Vita in general. I love the Vita as a handheld. I love the screen on it. That OLED screen looks fantastic. At least if you have one of like the first Vitas. I think they did a later version that just has a regular LED screen. It's a very powerful system. I think it's fantastic for its legacy content. A lot of great PSP games that you can buy on the PlayStation Store. A lot of PS1 games, and they just like look really good on the screen. So I mainly use my Vita as like an emulation machine. If there's ever a PS1 game I want to play, I actually have it on the Vita on one of my memory cards. Which man, the memory cards are crazy expensive now. Those were always a pain in the ass with the Vita. But yeah, it's great for a lot of PSP games that you can still get on the PlayStation Network. A lot of games that are way too expensive if you want to get them on original hardware. Like Persona 3 Portable, for instance, you can get on the Vita for like, I want to say it's maybe like $20 at the most. And if you want to get that game on PC, like holy shit, like it's like a fucking $300 game now. It's crazy. But as far as the Vita library itself, I don't know, not really to my tastes. I'll be honest. It's a lot of like super anime like JRPGs and visual novels. Like really mediocre ones too. Like nothing like super high quality. It's filled with those kind of games. And it's just not really my thing. There's definitely some good ones here and there that you can find, but yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why my collection is not super big, just because a lot of the games for this system just aren't interesting to me. I do think the Vita is going to be one of those consoles where they just didn't make a lot of copies for all these games, so I think they're going to be very expensive, and they're already starting to get pricey, especially with COVID making game prices just out of control. So if there's any Vita games that you want that are still within the realm of affordability, I'd suggest trying to track them down now before it's too late, because I think a lot of these are going to be just extremely hard to find and extremely valuable later. But that's enough preamble. Let's get into the actual collection. So we'll start off with Persona 4. What do they call this? Dancing All Night. This is kind of like this like day one edition, launch edition, because of the Vita skin and wallpapers. I don't think I ever I think they're still in here. I don't think I actually opened it to get those. So this game, I love Persona 3 and 5 dancing on the PS4. Because they don't waste your time with this terrible story mode with tons of dialogue that just completely gets in the way of the actual rhythm gameplay that I think is actually pretty enjoyable. This has this horrendous story that just it goes on forever, and the characters just never shut up, and it's not interesting dialogue at all. I love these characters, I love Persona 4, but I don't know, the story here is just, oh my god, it's just really bad, and it's really tedious, and it made me not like this game as much as I should as much as I should have really. I definitely would recommend the Persona 3 and 5 dancing games over this one, because they cut out that story and they just get to the good parts of the game, which is that rhythm gameplay. But yeah, it's Persona 4 dancing. Okay, Lost Dimension. Now this is one of the Vita games that's starting to get a bit expensive. I've seen this start to climb up to the $100 Canadian price range. I didn't care for it that much. The concept was actually really cool to me. I think it was there was traders that were on your team. It's like a strategy RPG, and you kind of have to figure out the traders on your team, which is with this cool concept. But I seem to remember that the execution wasn't really all there, and the actual battle system to it was kind of bland. And the story, I just didn't think the story was that good. So I was kind of disappointed by this one. I didn't care for it too much, which is a bit of a shame. But I think what Atlas published this. I don't forget. Oh, Furrier developed this, but yeah, this was one of those interesting anime style games that looked cool to me, but unfortunately, didn't really care for it. Okay, next up we've got Ys Memories of Salsetta. I enjoyed this. I think this is like the last time like I enjoyed an Ys game. I think after this, like around the time I think this and Ys 7 came out is when the series started to lose me. I think Ys is better when it's a short 10 to 12 hour experience. I don't think this kind of combat is enough to carry like a 40-hour game. And I just don't think the stories in these games are that good. Ys 8 completely lost me. Like that game I hated because it was just so bloated and like I don't know. I used to like the Ys series. Like honestly, I'll take the first two Ys games over the newer entries. But this one in particular is not too bad because it's around like 20 hours. I think the final dungeon was just terrible from what I remember in this, but it was short enough that I still enjoyed it. I didn't get burnt out on it or anything, but I don't know. To me, Ys Ofenflagana, that's the best game in the series, and until they go back to that short focused experience, I don't know. I think I'm kind of done with the Ys series, unfortunately. Man, we're starting to get off on a negative note here. Of course, we're going to still get negative here. Uncharted Golden Abyss, which this game is getting shockingly expensive, like over retail price at this point, which is bizarre to me because this has to be like the best-selling game on the Vita, I would think. You know me, I don't like the Uncharted games, and this is probably one of the worst ones. It's got the same like gameplay that I just really don't like from the console ones, but then you have the touchscreen gimmicks where you have to like use the back of the Vita, that touch sensitive pad that was just, man, I just hated that anytime you had to use that for like these little mini games that are all over this. Very gimmicky, not enjoyable at all. Yeah, no, I didn't care for this game at all. Moving on, we got Silent Hill Book of Memories. Now this is hilarious. This game is actually really expensive now. Like it's over $100 at this point. Granted, Canadian. It's gonna be a bit cheaper US. I think I know why. It's a Silent Hill game. If you look at the prices for Silent Hill games, most of them have gone up like crazy. Like Silent Hill 3 for the PS2 is like a $300 game now. It's unbelievable. I cannot. It's crazy how expensive survival horror games have gotten. So I'm guessing that's why this game is getting up there. And I don't think they made very many of these. This is a weird game. It's like a dungeon crawler. I can't remember if it's like roguelike. I don't think so. I think it's like a Diablo style dungeon crawler for the most part. Really weird game. I didn't care for it. But it's interesting. I'll give it that. So I think, I don't know. It's just so bizarre that I kind of enjoyed parts of it, but even as a dungeon crawler, I think there's far better. Even on the Vita, I think you can find far better dungeon crawlers. But yeah, I don't know. If you want this game, I don't know. It's strange. I don't see it being worth these prices. But being a Silent Hill game, I'm sure this is going to get even more expensive. And again, it's a Vita exclusive. You can only play this on the Vita. So yeah, kind of a weird game, this one. All right, finally a game that I actually enjoyed. Tales of Hearts R. Man, maybe not one of the best Tales games, but a solid one. I definitely enjoyed it. A great cast of characters, good combat. It can feel a little bland at times, I think, especially compared to some of the other entries in the series. But overall, like most Tales games, I really got into it. This game's also getting expensive. Like this is reaching like the $120 mark now. And that doesn't surprise me. This game you can only play on the Vita, and Tales collectors are going to want it, and I don't think they're going to re-release this in any other way. So if you want this game, I'd try to track down a copy now. I think it's going to get harder and harder to find this. I also noticed too, if you go on eBay, I only ever see like maybe 7 to 8 copies at any given time on eBay, which is pretty low. There's not a lot of copies of this game to go around, so I'd probably try to get this if you don't have it right now. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this. This is probably actually one of my favorite games on the system, if we're being honest. Okay, Freedom Wars. This game's cool, actually. I liked this game. It's like a sci-fi monster hunter style game, with some cool like. It's got a cool battle system in this too, and the world here, like the world building, I thought was actually really inventive and cool. I don't think I ever finished it. It got a little too difficult for me, especially because I was playing it. I think I was playing it single player. I never actually got to play multiplayer in this game, which was a bit unfortunate. But definitely a unique game, and I think what Nintendo or not Nintendo, Sony published this one. I want to say, yeah, Japan Studio had a hand in this too, which is cool. Yeah, this is one of the more enjoyable experiences on the Vita. This game's not expensive, actually. Hopefully it doesn't get too expensive, but yeah, really enjoyed Freedom Wars. Cool game, if you haven't played it. Next up, we got Oorish Tainted Bloodlines. This is I think it's a Singapore copy. This game never officially came out in North America, but this version is in English. So you can still get it. I don't know about the prices on this. I don't know if this is like expensive because it's a weird case, but this game was one of those games that sounded really cool when I heard about it, but unfortunately didn't really do a whole lot for me. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it for whatever reason. I actually barely remember what this game is even about, what the battle system is like. Oh, I think this is the one where it's like you have like children and they like take your stats and attributes and stuff like that. So actually it's sort of similar to that Conception 2 game, another game I didn't care for that much. I think this game's better than that. Yeah, no, I don't know. For some reason I couldn't really get into this game. I think it was just a bit too slow paced for me, actually. Next up, Zero Time Dilemma. One of the most disappointing games I've ever played. I love 999, Virtue's Last Reward, one of my all-time favorite games. So I was obviously hyped for the ending of the trilogy, and it's just a complete mess. I just really do not care for the way that they ended things here. And it just feels super low budget compared to the previous games, which were already they didn't have like crazy high budgets, but this, like the animations and the visuals and the way the cutscenes worked, not great. I don't know. Like, I think the escape room puzzles in this were pretty okay. Like, that part of the game I think I liked, but the story here, man, just it's so disappointing. Just a horrendous like wrap up to this trilogy. And I haven't liked anything Ichikoshi, the director here. I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong. I haven't liked anything he's done after this. I hated AI the Somnium Files. Although, actually, that's the only game I played after this. So it would be a Zero Time Dilemma and that game I just hated. Which sucks, because, like, Virtue's Last Reward was so damn good. I don't know what's happened. Like, I don't know. Was it, like, a fluke or something? I don't know. I guess a lot of people still liked AI. And a lot of people still like this as well. But, yeah, no, I don't know. This was pretty disappointing for me. Next up, we'll just do both of these at once. Danganronpa 1 and 2. I don't have 3. I had that on PS4 and then I traded it. I wish I didn't, because that game is super expensive now, and the Vita version of 3 is ridiculous. That game is like close to $200 now. And these games are expensive too, actually, on Vita. Like, anything Danganronpa has gone up like crazy, and with good reason. They're fantastic games. The third game in this trilogy did not disappoint me, unlike Virtue's Last Reward. I thought it was a pretty solid finale to the series. Really cool games. The trials are very interesting, very unique. There's nothing quite like these. The style's fantastic. The atmosphere and music is just amazing in these games, and it's a really great story with plenty of twists and turns. A great cast of characters in all of these games. These games are highly praised for a reason. I really did enjoy these Danganronpa games here. I also think you can get these games on the Switch. They would probably be pretty good. I prefer visual novel type games on handheld, so I think the Vita is just a good fit for these types of games. And for the longest time, I would say Danganronpa, this was the best exclusive on the Vita. But really, well, I guess this isn't an exclusive anymore, but it's still probably the best game on the Vita. Persona 4 Golden, taking an already amazing game and making it even better. Love this series, and Persona 4, it's terrific. But luckily now you can get it on Steam. You don't have to pay this game isn't too expensive. It's like $70 Canadian or something like that, but it's still a little pricey. If you want to go the Vita route, I would definitely recommend PC. if you can. But yeah, absolutely love this game. Definitely, yeah. As far as like it, for the longest time, definitely the best Vita exclusive. But and overall, out of my collection, yeah, easily my favorite game. And then finally, yeah, not too big of a collection. We've got Soul Sacrifice. I actually have not played this, unfortunately. It's the only game I haven't played. Monster Hunter style game, which with some cool mechanics in it. Unfortunately, just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe someday I'll finally pick this up. I think there was like a Delta version of this that added more content and stuff like that you can also get on the Vita. But I just got the regular version here. But that's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching. What games do you guys have in your Vita collections? Which games are you looking for? What are some of your favorite games on the Vita? Maybe the least favorites. What do you think of the console in general? I'm very curious to know. But that's it, guys. Thanks, and have a good one.